Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak, here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And tonight, we're here to talk about CLOUT.io, Media Decentralized. Now, I'm very excited. We have the founder of this project here, Sean Kirtz, and co-hosting this interview with me, we got Ben, our favorite truck driver crypto enthusiast. Why don't you go ahead and say hi, Ben, and then we can get to Sean and let him introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite truck driver, Bitcoin Ben, here to help you learn about the CLOUT network. And I'm here with Ken Bozak, my brother from another mother, living over in, where do you live at again? You live in,
Yo, I was hacked. I don't want to talk about anything personal. I live on the moon, brother.
You live in Hawaii on a boat.
Yes.
That's where you live.
Yes, this is actually the poop deck.
That's green screen.
Yes, exactly. So Sean is the founder of CLOUT.io. Their thing is the media decentralized. Sean, please, if you could introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, maybe some of your background, lay some credibility down, let people know like where you come from so they know like where this conversation's going, and maybe let them know how you got into cryptocurrency and how that got you to what you do now.
Sure. My name's Sean Kirtz, the founder of CLOUT, the founder and president of CLOUT. Our website is CLOUT.io. My background is I started Bitcoin Day Traders Group, which grew to over 10,000 people in a couple of months. Essentially for the reason why we're creating the platform, my team and I. It's certainly a group effort. There's a lot that goes into making something of this magnitude. And it definitely should be noted that it's a team effort and not my own self primarily. A collaboration of so many great minds involved and hardworking people, of course.
So could you explain a little bit about what CLOUT is and how it came to be? Certainly.
I'll start with how it came to be. How it came to be was me and a couple friends started a Facebook group called Bitcoin Day Traders to discuss, openly upcoming altcoins, ICOs, things that we should think about investing in, and what things we should avoid that are scams. Because when you have a market that's open like this, you have potential for a lot of success, but it also leaves the door open for people to come in and try to do some trickery or scams. So to solve this problem of informing the people of what to invest in, and at the same time, preventing them from getting hurt, which ultimately will lead to the evolution of the digital currency space, if you will. So CLOUT sets out to monetarily compensate people for contributing, which will put valid information to the top and weed out information that might be scams or irrelevant. We are exclusive to the digital currency space.
Right, so unlike the competition, like Steemit, yours, Facebook, whatever, that's still cat videos and fart jokes. This is going to be crypto only, right?
Certainly. I see the platforms that are out there and I respect them, but I don't consider them competition. I feel, blockchain is CLOUT, and CLOUT is the future of the social media section of digital currency and blockchain technology, if you will.
What excites me about this project, though, is people like Ben. Ben, my brother, he's so adamant about crypto and so live and goes live on YouTube and every day puts out content. or on Facebook, and he doesn't earn anything from that quality content, that you know, the time and effort it takes to digest information, regurgitate it, and put it on a platform for the audience to ingest, regurgitate, and keep going. He doesn't earn anything, even though he gets hundreds of live viewers and hundreds of interactions on Facebook. My man Ben doesn't make anything off of that content, but with CLOUT, Ben's gonna have a yacht based off of just his following. So Ben, what do you think about that, bro?
I love the idea of CLOUT, and the reason I do is that there are actually people like me, there are people like you, Ken, who we love cryptocurrency, we love blockchain, and really, at least for me right now, it isn't about the money. It is about, I'm so excited about the whole environment, and I'm really excited about CLOUT. I mean, anybody who watches me, and I mean thousands, like tens of thousands of people watch me.
Yes, they do.
Every day. If you watch me, it's kind of like watching a train wreck that looks good. You know, it's really informational because I research and I really know what I'm talking about, but yet at the same time I'm entertaining because, I mean, let's be honest, I'm a truck driver with a speech impediment. If that's not funny to watch, I don't know what the fuck is. You know, and I know what I'm talking about because there are so few people who aren't like, who aren't geniuses, all right? I'm not a genius. You have like people at like, I guess like MIT who could hop on a show and explain it, and at the end of their explanation, you still have no idea what the fuck they just said. Where you have me, a truck driver who understands it, grasps where everything's going and the concept in cryptocurrencies and actually tokens, what the platforms, because I got nothing but 10 hours a day in order to educate myself, and then I hop on Facebook to explain to the general population what I learned, and I'm able to, I mean, thank God, to translate the genius talk into average people talk.
Yeah.
And that's where CLOUT is going to be huge. And I'll tell you why. Because CLOUT is a platform that is so ahead of its time that the average person doesn't even recognize how ahead it is. Right? CLOUT has seen 2 years ahead. All right, right now, this cryptocurrency world is going to lead to areas that are very isolated, where they're very, they are very goal-oriented, and CLOUT is riding the wave of the adoption of cryptocurrency at exactly the right time. I mean, I don't know if it's like the universe I don't know if it's God. I don't really believe in. I think the clout, the idea, was placed in the mind of excuse me, of Shane, and at just the right time, because this wave is going to need a place where the average person can go in order to educate themselves about not only cryptocurrency but blockchain. Because the more I read the white paper, I've read it over and over again, the more every time I look at the word clout, I see blockchain. There's blockchain is clout, and clout is blockchain. If you want to watch a cat video, you go to YouTube. If you want to learn about cryptocurrencies, you go to CLOUT.
Exactly.
That's it. There's nothing else. I mean, yeah, you could search around YouTube and hope that you find something that is a remnant that's old, that you hope is accurate. Where if you go to CLOUT, and at least watching my channel, or I guarantee Ken will also be on CLOUT.
Yes.
If you watch our channels, and I'm hoping there's a live option, which I'm sure there will be soon.
Well, if you let Sean get a word in edgewise, we'll find out.
Hey, just because I have a speech impediment doesn't mean I don't like to talk.
Hey, man, you're hella good at it, but I gotta get to Sean real quick because I did have a couple things that you brought up, but I wanted to make sure.
If I could elaborate.
Yes, Sean, please.
If I could elaborate, please, on what Ben said, because it's so important what Ben's saying, because he gets it. And in order to get it, it's imperative that you understand, how the blockchain functions. Because essentially, like he said, CLOUT is the blockchain. And I'll try to elaborate a little bit more in detail. The real world has essentially been over for a while now. It's been played. It's done. You really don't have a chance. But with blockchain technology, it gives people such as Ben, myself, so many opportunities to partake and have a voice, because there's no centralized governing body, and it's just such a beautiful thing, and that's really the primary mechanism behind it. And it means so much to me that Ben understands it too, and you understand it, because essentially what CLOUT is the blockchain on a larger scale, on a social scale, and it's going to function the same exact way.
Now, I had a couple of questions about things like, decentralized social media platforms. One of the things that I was concerned about, and most platforms should be, especially if you're earning revenue using the platform, how would you make sure people don't, use other people's intellectual property or content to gain value on the platform? Like if I were to, if somebody doesn't use the platform, but somebody curates their content on your platform, how would that work out? Or is there anything to play?
Yeah, sure, certainly. I mean, without going into too much detail to give away too many trade secrets before the platform's out, we do have, sophisticated mechanisms in place in artificial intelligence from a company in China that we partnered up with. It's going to be able to weed out such content of which you speak. And it's really, I don't see with our mechanisms in place going to be an issue. The plagiarism.
All right, so
I mean, go ahead, please.
Oh no, we're still getting questions on exactly what is it. It's a social media website network, very similar to something like Steam. It's Facebook's Reddit, with a payment system, a reward system built in for users and contributors. Correct?
Yes, sure. So what CLOUT is essentially is a platform for the digital currency community, and what it's going to have is going to have sections dedicated to certain topics involved in digital currency, i.e. ICO section. Another section is going to be altcoin section. Another coin is going to be news. Another big section that I'm excited about is who's lists. Because there's so many people who've dedicated so many hours and so much,
and have credibility in the
energy.
space.
Sure, and they deserve to be recognized, and they deserve get credit for all the work and time they've put in. So we're going to shed some light not only on which ICOs people should invest in. There's going to be a due diligence process.
Right, that's what I was going to get to. Yes, thank you.
Can get listed, and then we're going to put like a label on it, like CLOUT approved ICO once it reaches, say, a 5 out of 10, and then the market, because it's our responsibility to protect the market, but it's completely decentralized. There just can't be scams involved.
It's so funny. People still don't get what it is after they hear it 100 times. It's because you don't know you need this. You know what I mean? You're having what would be like a Steve Jobs moment here, bro, where it's like people didn't know they needed this until you made it. And then they're like, oh shit, I didn't know I couldn't live without this. And every time somebody comes to me, where can I get information about this, that, or the other thing? I am terrified to say CoinDesk or Cointelegraph or Reddit because of all the incentivization and lobbying behind. People will promote anything on Cointelegraph for a Bitcoin, and the credibility isn't very good on these media networks because they'll promote anything. They've promoted straight up scams. So it's hard to say that is where you can go for good information when people are out there that can
Bitcoin.
Right. When people that are out there can read a white paper, they know how everything works, they need to be incentivized to filter this information and relay it for people, and CLOUT is where they can go to express this information that they have and earn by putting their time and effort into it. Because there's people out there that are smarter than me and Ben here, and they know how everything works at the core, but they're not incentivized enough to produce content for us to consume. It's not in their best interest. They're smarter than that. We need to give them a place to make money where they could use that intelligence to really have more incentivization to produce education. Free market education.
It's funny you bring up Cointelegraph because Cointelegraph's former CEO is actually our most recent advisor. Their former CEO, Tony Lane Casserly, who's absolutely brilliant, just fantastic person. Great mind, and she's just contributing so much to the project. Is going to continue to do so as we evolve, I'm sure.
I'm excited, man. I wanted. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Okay,
Ben, please.
I want to add something in there. Is really what is going to give CLOUT its real amazingness, if that's even a word, is it's going to actually be people like me and Ken, because CLOUT is not only the platform, CLOUT is the blockchain and cryptocurrency community. That's where we're going to be. We are the real people living and breathing and using cryptocurrency. We aren't the person who has an office that he actually gets a heads up that there's a juicy little, hey, there's a CEO of such and such, why don't you go interview him? No. Although they will probably also be on CLOUT, you'll have the intellectual knowledge and the time in the market and in the environment of like me, people like Ken. There's another guy, if you've never heard of him, called Omar. He's awesome. That guy knows, he's on top of everything, and you'll have people like us who the difference will be we have the credibility of the years of people watching us. Like, the reason I'm actually popular and the reason Ken is so popular is because we're real guys. You know, we aren't, there's no makeup. There's no, you know, lights, camera, action, let's roll. It's, I'm in my truck and I happen to have a couple of minutes that I can throw on a video. You know, Ken is so knowledgeable in so many different aspects, and I'm actually going to have a hot cup of shut the fuck up right now, and I'm going to let I'm actually going to let the future jobs, and when I say jobs, that's with a capital J, of the cryptocurrency world, preach his own product, CLOUT.
All right, so I wanted to get to the pre-ICO because that's very important. I wanted to make sure people know that that is available, but I wanted to jump into one question before we really dig into this. You know, investors are told to ask this question before investing in an ICO. Why did you go this way and not the traditional route of accumulating value for the project?
There's a lot that goes. You're referring to having a pre-ICO?
Yeah, like angel investors, an IPO, the traditional standard investment route. Why go the route of an ICO with crypto, not just the traditional, you know, USD fiat type of investors route?
Certainly, because the whole point of it is to have as many users involved in the platform and creating the digital currency space. We're not here to say this is the way that the space is going to go, and you have to read this or you have to, you know, and have control over it. We want as many people to have access to our utility token, which will allow you to create content, agree on content, like content, upvote, downvote, etc. So it's imperative that as many people could participate as possible. So doing it this way, we feel is the best way to be able to reach our goal.
I absolutely believe in that exact thing you're saying, is where the more people that can contribute, the better. Why have so many you know, hoops to jump through or barriers to entry? That is missed opportunities for people who want to take the plunge or take the chance and invest on something they believe in, whether it be for financial gain or for quality of life and a better place to live in the future. Because that's when I see projects like this, I don't. The whole, I know, because I wanted to succeed, like that quality of life aspect is more important than anything I could invest in and gain value profit. The quality of life means more. So like when these projects come out, I go off in a tangent where it's like, that's why people go with this crypto method. But unfortunately, it looks like United States citizens aren't allowed to partake in the pre-ICO, ICO. I know some people have said things like they would use a VPN or something. I don't recommend doing that, even though it's possible. But you know, how would you go about entering the ICO? I know you have to, you know, give you some information. Is there like a know your customer? How does that play out if you want to get in? You know, you can't do it from the U.S. So if you're not in the U.S., how can you get in?
Yeah, certainly. No, so I went to recently the Nexus conference and consulted for hours and hours and hours on this subject, because essentially what we're supposed to do and expected to do is comply to a guidelines that doesn't exist yet. So there's a thin line that we must walk. And it's in our investors' best interest and in the company's best interest that although we are clearly a utility token, that we don't get in a situation where the SEC comes out like China did and says, okay, all tokens are securities, which is an option. It's something they could do because there's no regulation yet. In definition in the CFTC, if it's still on Ben's hand, and many things are coming out, you know, every day. So we took the approach that we're not going to accept U.S. investors. and we're going to incorporate in a different country, which is Gibraltar, a beautiful country. And essentially, I want everyone to eventually be involved, or everyone has the opportunity to be involved eventually, as we plan to be listed on an exchange. And since there's no guidelines really about oh, you can say this or you can't say that, but there's information that I'd like to say, but unfortunately I can't say because of politics. But I'm confident that there'll be an opportunity for everybody to participate in some magnitude and in the very near future.
Oh, of course. So the pre-ICO is live now, right? People can go to CLOUT.io and get in on that early pre-ICO. Can you go and explain a little bit about that minimum entry and why you chose that? Because that seems to be a very big hot topic for investors at the moment.
Sure. So we chose this reason, okay? Because in a pre-ICO situation, it's a manual process to where you have to do the KYC, the AML, and record every single person, their ETH address we're going to send it to, and their email address to make sure we have the information to confirm before we send it. If we don't have a minimum on this, then you're going to have millions of people putting in 0.001 ETH, and then you're going to have thousands and thousands of people involved in it, and they will be able to be involved during the ICO, which is why we're having it. But when we lessen the amount of people initially to the minimum, which will also increase the probability that they'll be considered an accredited investor also. Because what we found is most of the people, you have to be an accredited investor is defined by someone who earns $200,000 a year for 3 years or is liquid for $1 million in assets. So number one, you have to be accredited. So most people who invest at this level are accredited, but more importantly, this allows us to minimize the possibility of human error, as opposed to the ICO, which is a function of a smart contract that's automated.
Gotcha. And that is a much smaller entry barrier, I believe 0.5 Ethereum, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I know I can't, but as soon as it hits the exchange, which I did want to get to, is there any exchanges that you have that you can talk about maybe adding it? I know you can't say definite, but there's always possibilities, right? Like, what are some possible exchanges that you're hoping to see this on?
So, one of my favorite exchanges, is Hit BTC. It's big.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it was real big during Bcash. That one.
Yeah, I like that one, and there's several others I like in Korea, because and I'll say why. Because blockchain isn't localized, and neither is CLOUT. We have 20 different members represented by 13 different countries. An important aspect of blockchain and cryptocurrency, more important than the money, is the ideological philosophy and the culture involved of being, kind and communicating in a proper manner. These are things that are very important, and I've learned a lot about other cultures, and a lot of cultures are quite different than the one I'm accustomed to. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I've been able to adapt quite well. But the important point being that each culture and each country has its own different philosophy or variation of a philosophy. So it's imperative that we have each of these philosophies and ideology, behind the CLOUT project. So 13 different countries are represented in our advisor team, including our CEO, who is a founding board member of IOTA.
Oh yeah, man, your team, you don't even have to say anything, dude. Your team speaks for itself, which is like really braggable. Like seriously, there should be playing cards with CLOUT team on it, man, and the stats listed on the back, and make them tradable, and then you could have like evolutions as they like gain more stats. Because every time somebody talks about CLOUT in any group chat I'm in any Slack channel I'm in, it's forget the platform. They're talking about the team, dude. Like, and that's so beautiful that this team is it's speaking for itself. The project itself is self-marketing, and that is how natural adoption starts, bro. Like, this is...
Well, because
this is huge, man.
To understand CLOUT as well as Ben does, you know, and you are beginning to, it's imperative that you get people that understand blockchain technology, how blockchain works, because then you understand how CLOUT works.
Well, we could talk a little bit about blockchain right here, because I didn't want to segue from this too far. You're going with ERC-20 or 223 tokens, correct? Could you explain the difference and why you're doing this? Because seriously, this is going to save so much people. I can't describe how many people I know lost money doing ICOs like this. So please, could you just go on with your badass self and explain why you did this?
Sure, certainly. And it was a risk involved. And I had the opportunity to talk with one of the creators of Ethereum a little bit, you know, and I asked him, because
you got to take risks,
there's
bro.
There's really only one other company that did it, and he's like, I really can't talk about it until next month in Hong Kong, but I have a pretty good at reading people, and I just had a good feeling about it, so we went for it. We went for the ERC-223 token as opposed to the previous standard, and I say previous because I feel that it's, you know, pretty clear that the ERC-223, you know, will become the new standard. Some functions that, you know, the primary function that, you know, ERC-223 has that ERC-20 didn't have is that, you know, say you send it out to an ETH address that's, you know, maybe a BTC address or something of the sort, it won't be lost forever.
Or an exchange.
It'll come back. Or an exchange, right? So this is going to protect our investors and the people that, you know, are involved in CLOUT, and I'm super excited about it. And the smart contracts we could do with it are just fantastic.
I would like to take this opportunity to warn people, if you are investing in this ICO, CLOUT.io, their ICO, when you invest, they'll be asking you for an Ethereum address. You'll be able to use Bitcoin, you'll be able to use Ethereum, but they only want an Ethereum address that can handle ERC-20s. Something like my Ether wallet, or to something like a ledger, you know, they have Ethereum and they can, anyway, you know, I don't want people, Treasure, Ledger, anybody.
My favorite.
Do not use an exchange Ethereum address. The ERC-223 token can be, you can fix this issue with this, but it's still not something you want to find yourself in a position of, or to make a habit of doing.
Plus, your money should not be on an exchange anyway.
Ever.
Ever.
Learn that one the hard way.
Ever.
I'm still locked out of my accounts.
We have wallets, people.
Bittrex still won't let me in, guys. Bittrex is locking everybody out.
Bittrex was the only one that let me in.
Well, really? They're locking a lot of people out right now. It's kind of being called FUD or fake news all over the internet, but it's really happening to a lot of people.
Yes,
well, it's because they haven't fully complied, from what I understand and what I've read. They haven't fully complied with the KYC.
Oh, they're so screwed.
Now, I have a different view on that, on actually what's going on. Because and about CLOUT, but this is the kind of information you'll get when you go to CLOUT, is you'll actually get different opinions on like different topics. And when you hear different opinions, that's when you educate yourself. If you always listen to a person who agrees with you, you'll never learn a thing. All right? So, all right. I'm not going to go on a rant anymore.
All right, yeah, let me back that.
We love your rant.
I do. But I did want to ask a couple more questions about this ICO, because you know, these are important questions here, man. People, you know, 10 Ethereum is the minimum for the pre-ICO. 0.5 is the minimum for the ICO. And then once it hits the exchange, the ICO is selling at $1 a token. That's the evaluation. So when it hits the exchange, people who bought this token at $1 aren't going to let it go for anything but for a profit. So you could imagine you're gonna spend a little bit more if you don't get in on the ICO. So my question is,
comment on that?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
That's not 100% accurate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The pre-ICO is at $1, and then the ICO is in 3 tiers. 5 million tokens will be sold at $2.50. 3 million tokens will be sold at $5, and 2 million tokens will be sold at $10. We'll essentially have 10 million tokens sold in the ICO for a $50 million ICO. Should it all sell out?
Awesome. All right. Sorry about that. Yes, I actually read that, and I didn't mean to skip over. I was just trying to work on the first part. But yes. Anyway, people are looking to put, we're looking for, or are putting big money into these things. What, wallets will be available? Are you working with any hardware wallets like Treasure? Will there be anywhere for people to store these safely, specifically? And yeah, just curious about the wallets part.
Well, the beautiful thing about Treasure is that it has a function that, it automatically, connects to MyEther wallet.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So essentially, if you have Treasure in a MyEther wallet where you store the tokens, which is what I recommend, then essentially, yeah, then it's compatible through the Treasure wallet.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we covered. I just backtracked when Ben interrupted. I wanted to talk a little bit about CLOUT versus CLC. If you could explain a little bit about the CLOUT token and the utility CLC, and what the differences are and how they will be used to be given and gain value by existing. Why are people using these tokens? What do they get from holding them and stuff like that?
Great question, because this was a very, very difficult and trying situation for my team and myself. I'm seeing Ben and not myself. Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a really difficult situation because there's 2 different approaches you could take. One approach is peg CLOUT, which is essentially CLOUT. Well, let me start with what CLOUT and CLC is, and then I'll get into that. CLOUT primary function is to exchange with CLC. Its utility function is to exchange to CLC on the platform. And an additional utility function is that it auto mines or auto generates CLC, which is a comparable relationship to Neo and Gas.
Oh, perfect. So, I love that example. Wow.
Sure. So CLC essentially is the functioning components of the platform. So to content, to create, will be, a CLOUToshi of a CLOUT, if you will. Denard Small.
All right.
So so there's 2 models you could take here. Okay. One is that you peg CLOUT to CLC, and this is called a linear model. And this was going to be the model, and I had to step in and change it and say, no, we can't peg it to CLC, because that's not how the blockchain works, and that's not how digital currency works. So how it's going to work is CLOUT is going to essentially be a store of value, and CLC is going to, and CLC has to maintain an equilibrium like Ethereum. So I would compare CLC to Ethereum in the point that it's kind of like a resource or utility and has to be used. So that has to maintain an equilibrium, whereas the idea behind CLOUT is you want the value to, increase. So you can't peg the 2 because they live in different universes. So what we're going to do is to set the market initially, because you have to index it to something. We're going to index it initially without pegging it at a rate from CLOUT to CLC. And then at a point of value X that CLC gets to, the market is going to independently dictate the value of each of them so that CLOUT could increase in value while CLC maintains an equilibrium.
Okay, some stability. I like it. All right, Mike.
That's correct, because this is going to decrease volatility. Yeah. It's imperative that CLC's volatility remains somewhat stable. So yeah, I'm glad you caught that. Fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that there's a lot of noobs watching this stuff, and sometimes I just take advantage of yeah, I got that, and don't break it down. There's a lot of people who are like, I highly doubt he got that. He doesn't look like he got that.
I love listening to really smart people talk, because half the time you don't know what the fuck they're saying, and the other half you just nod like you do understand what they're saying.
Yeah, it's all about the rebuttal, really. What I wanted to get to real quick, though, because you're talking about contributing content, creating content, and earning based on the quality of said content. Do you have anything in mind for, like, potential taxes, or how you could help users plan for how their earnings could be, tracked and monitored for their own self, insurance? Because when we do taxes here, it's up to us to keep track of it. It's not like the government's on top of shit and you get in trouble if you're not. So how will people, that earn value on Clout, is there anything put in place to help them out with that?
Yeah, that's something that we've been discussing, because ultimately, it's the goal is to help the entire community, with everything crypto. Because if we're going to say, blockchain is cloud and cloud is the blockchain, then we want to function in such a manner to do so, and make sure that everything's fully transparent. Because the ultimate goal is to catalyze the already happening revolution and growth of the digital currency sector. So in order to do that, it's imperative that we make sure that there's full transparency on what's accurate and credible content, so that outside people, if you will more readily enter the digital currency community and market, because we'll essentially erase the fear or limit the fear, and also make it hopefully a cookie cutter approach to entering it.
We're talking about ICO information, blockchain information. This is very easily taken advantage of, I could say, when you create something that's for the good. Unfortunately, it's usually taken advantage of more so at first. The early adopters are usually bad people. So how are we going to make sure that CLOUT.io doesn't get spammed with information that may not be trustworthy? Maybe somebody who has a following could have their clout information intentionally upvoted, even though it may not be actually reputable. Is there anything put in place for any kind of spam protection or whale futtery, where somebody with so many followers or so much value could trick people into thinking they're credible on Clout? Or is there something put in place to make sure that that's not what's happening in the background?
Yes. You've asked me this again, and the reason I can't answer it is because we have, really we have.
The users, right? The upvoting and the downvoting and the flagging, right?
Well,
hey,
the reason
teacher.
is because.
Hey, teacher, I know the answer.
Yes, Ben, fire.
Let me try and explain on how that will work out, and then you let me know if I'm right, because I love being right.
I'm excited.
All right.
Sure, it's supposed to be proprietary for the meantime, and that's why I wasn't going to say. But if you get it right, I promise you, I'll give you this sign. But I won't. All
right, good. All right. As a collective, the people in the cryptocurrency arena and people who are learning about cryptocurrency are very good at recognizing bullshit. And that's why, like, your show is so popular. That's why my show is so popular. And that's why Clout, that's why he's actually doing all of these interviews and stuff. Because when you're honest and you've got a great product, it's easy to talk about, because you're not full of shit. Where on Clout, it's going to be very easy to recognize, say, I don't know, maybe a guy on a jet ski.
Yes.
In Florida, where he's like, I've made so much money, so can you, but yet I'm full of shit.
I started with $1 investment and I've made $1 million. This is my yacht.
Right. Let me drive on my little jet ski right next to a yacht and point to it like I own it, when really the guy on the yacht is actually telling me to get the fuck off.
Excellent.
And it's it's really the environment on CLOUT is not going to be stupid people. These are going to be people who are honestly and intellectually curious, but yet they're not stupid people.
Right.
They will be able to recognize what's good content and what's bullshit, and using your platform and how you have structured it.
The source of the crowd, man.
Well, that's the beautiful part about blockchain technology and the culture and how it functions is that, there's no secrets. It's an open ledger.
Right.
You can't, you can only trick it for so long.
Exactly.
Blockchain is genuine. And eventually, no matter, how long you pretend or try to fake it, eventually the truth is going to come out in blockchain and in CLOUT.
That's what I was trying to get out. Not the formula, but the cultural reason why that idea will not work in this decentralized open ledger community. That's what I wasn't trying to get your formula. That cultural aspect of the people involved in this cryptocurrency, in this industry, they will not stand for it. It won't work. You say one thing, it's on an open ledger. It's there. You can't delete it, bro. It's on the blockchain. You shouldn't have said that if you didn't want to stand by it. And that's what I think. You're right. The community, the culture that is crypto, decentralized, open ledger, that won't stand for the bullshit. It won't make its way through it. It just won't. I wanted to get on a little bit about if there's a possibility of a fork, because everyone's talking about forking Bitcoin, forking this, forking that. Is there any possibility of a fork? And if there were a fork, what may possibly bring it on, or what could be the play? Like, do you see any forking in CLOUT's future? And if so, what could possibly bring it? Because it is a very big topic, and a lot of people want to know about these things.
I've talked to plenty of people about this subject, and I have my opinions. Some people heavily involved with Ethereum think that a lot of the Ethereum investing will ultimately go to Ethereum Classic, but
do you think that's
as far
proof
as
of stake, proof of work related?
Yeah, potentially. But I don't think it's going to ultimately affect our project at all, based off of how we set up and how we created. But it does open the potential for Ethereum Classic to start to make its move, potentially. But time will tell.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the referral program and the ads and stuff like that, where people can really utilize the CLOUT platform to, if they dedicate their time to high quality content and their content's informative and educational, how can they utilize that, the referral program and stuff like that within CLOUT? Is that something we can talk about real quick? Because when I was reading through the white paper, I was like, yo, I like this.
That's going to be a function, and there's going to be a formula involved with different revenue streams to algorithms that there's going to be a monetary compensation that makes more sense than anything out there, or probably anything that's been thought of yet. There's been a lot of time and energy and a lot of collaborative minds involved in the monetary policy, which isn't about money, just like blockchain isn't about money. It's about making sure accurate and credible information comes to the forefront. The money is just a byproduct.
That's what makes this such a genuine, unique project. Like, there's nothing. People are going to relate this to things. Like, they're going to relate a car to a horse and buggy. You know what I mean? Because they have to relate one thing to another, or their fucking minds will explode and their tongue will. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? So they're going to say, "Oh, you're just talking about Steemit. You're just talking about Facebook." Like, no, I don't think you got it yet. And I'm really excited for this project, man. Like, I think people need. In the description box below, there is a link to the white paper. It's like all together after the pictures. Like, what, 18 straight pages? Read that shit, because you're going to get hyped by the end of it. Like, I genuinely got hype reading it, dude. I read it twice right before we went live, just because I was like, yo, like, this is such a well-structured platform, because there is nowhere for people that are intelligent to really be incentivized to put that together for people to really consume. And that's where we're going to see people that are maybe Vitalik level come out of the woodwork and start producing content on CLOUT, where people can be like, wow, so yeah, this is you know, what we've been missing.
Right, for sure. And if I could maybe give mention of some of our team members.
Yes, I would like for you to run through the team.
Who work 20 hours a day. Honestly, just the people involved, you know, just, we work so hard and so great, and there's just so many great people involved that are giving 100% effort. You know, coming out with a, you know, a company or token or business of this magnitude takes multiple working parts for, you know, 20 hours a day. And there's so much sacrifice giving up, you know, spending time with your kids, you know, spending time with, you know, your loved ones. And I mean, it really, you know, digital currency consumes you, as many people involved will know. But, you know, when you have your own token, there becomes this responsibility involved that takes it to a completely another level. You know, so, you know, there's just really just 20 hours of just going and going and just staying motivated and making it happen, because it's just something we're so very passionate about. But so some of the people involved.
Yes, please. Some of the people, some of their.
David Cohen's founding board member of IOTA. Great guy, super smart, you know, really balances me out in ways. He says, you know, you got to check this out, because, you know, he's a little like pokes the holes, and I'm like,
I don't want to say, I don't want to off-road you, but I love that he's involved, because IOTA really gets me excited, because they're solving a problem that doesn't exist yet with the whole tangled. Anyway, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the project a lot myself. Ryan Fugger, who actually started, he's been the main founder and originator of the Ripple project that really, you know, launched blockchain technology to the forefront. He was one of the first people to understand it and utilize it in such a manner. So it's very important. You know, he's a big key person. And because we are a social site, it's imperative that we have, you know, someone who's really into social, like the former CEO of Cointelegraph, so one of our advisors, Tony Lane Castle.
That is awesome.
But we also have, you know, Gray, Bonnie, Crypto Chick, who's been amazing. Crypto Jen is just like one of my best friends. Anurag is the most resourceful person you'll ever find. My partners, you know, Simon, best UX guy. Dean James, just, you know, helped really make and start the evolution of a fantastic white paper. And Frank Lasita, just could go on and on. There's so many great people involved, and it just keeps just every day just more people are like, yeah, this is blockchain. This is what the community needs. You know, this is essential for us to get from where we're at now to that $1 million per Bitcoin that the people are talking about. You know, how's that going to happen? And I feel we're going to be a social media outlet that's going to really open the world, the eyes to people on the outside, and really catalyze the movement, you know, exponentially. For sure.
God, I love how your energy just kept getting higher and higher, because it's hyping me up. Like dude, I'm with you. Like, I want this project to succeed, because I want to live in a world where I can utilize it for my own self. Like, I want to use it for information consumption and information production. I want something like this to exist now. Like, I want it to be only crypto. I don't want cat videos or fart jokes. I don't want that. My time is very fucking valuable, and if I have to go to Steam it and sift through the bullshit just because somebody has 1,000 followers on Twitter and can upload a cat video on Steam it and make hundreds of fucking dollars, hundreds of dollars on Steam it for cat videos, and then the guy who writes a fucking explanation of a white paper makes 3 cents because he's not as well networked, but he's a goddamn genius. Like, that's a problem. Right.
100%. Yeah, and a couple of us are going to, you know, Jeff Kirtz, founder of Ethereum Investing, our social media manager, is fantastic. Frank Lasito, possibly James Shehorn. We're going to Coin Agenda Las Vegas for a week on Monday. We'll be there from Monday to Friday. Super excited about it, and to do some even further networking to really help evolve the idea and the network of that is CLOUT.
You know what's funny, man? I know a lot of I'm getting an echo. Sorry. I know a lot of people that produce cryptocurrency content that once this hits their radar, they're going to be incentivized naturally to make sure people understand what this is, because they, like me, are going to want to utilize said platform. So this, in a sense, has a default snowball effect built in that I really don't think you are prepared for, bro. I think you might be like a little underestimating the shit you just dropped on the world, bro. Like I know who I'm talking to right now. I don't think you know who you are yet, but in a couple years you're gonna be like one of the pillars of crypto, bro. I know it because of projects like this and how you're passionate about it, and it just by default I am, and Ben and the people I talk to about this that just know everybody involved on the team. Shout out to Bonnie, dude, for hooking me up with this. I didn't even know once this hit my radar, I was excited, and I saw Ben's excitement. I was like, bro, come on, we gotta get this guy and talk about this. And
Bonnie and her husband, I don't know how they do it, but somehow they're like, you got a conference call with Bitcoin Ben in a couple hours. How did you pull that out? You got one with Ken. And like, yeah, they're very super resourceful, the whole team, and like I said, I might not be prepared, but I hope I am. But if not, I built the strongest possible team around me, because it's not a one-person effort, and that's why I'm not scared. Because it's not going to fall on my shoulders. It's a whole team effort, and we'll together, I'm confident that we're going to make it happen.
That's very Jobs-esque, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Ben, any questions you may have concerning CLOUT.io, the ICO, the platform, anything you wanted to ask?
I have absolutely zero questions.
That means I did my job.
You definitely did your job.
Zero questions. I've read the white paper. I've several of the team members, and I've looked at it. I have tried to literally poke holes in it, because if you watch my show, all about friggin' poking holes in whatever poked in it, and I literally, when I read the white paper, it's like angels in the background.
Too kind.
And no.
I know we're over flattering him, but this is honestly modest. I know what Ben's saying.
Right.
It's very humbling experience for me.
I don't think that you realize. I think that me and Ken realize more what you have than you do.
Because I'm blocking it out. I intentionally block it out so it doesn't get to me and enable me to have some kind of an ego. So I don't even focus on it. I focus on what's the next step to get to that goal, and not what the implications are.
Right. Yeah. As long as you're in a constant state of it's not good enough, it'll keep getting better.
Right. There's always something to do. So I keep my mind off of that, because I feel, it could potentially, but I'm not going to let it, because, my mind's already been set on what's going to happen. I've already created my universe and my frequency to the world and to my universe of how this is going to work and what the end goal will be. And I'm confident that the universe will accept this and mold to it.
I'm confident in CLOUT.io, brother. I do want you to drop some dates, please, on the pre-ICO ending, the ICO opening, some numbers again on how much minimum entry and tokens will be distributed, just so people hear it again one more time, when they can buy in, how much, and what's up.
Certainly. The pre-ICO is almost sold out, but there is a little bit remaining for non-US. A little bit. We are having a launch party in November 17th. You're both invited. I hope you can both come and we can go live.
I will
We're
be
gonna have
there.
a birthday party.
Yeah, my birthday. Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, and most likely in Las Vegas. When we're out there this week for the coin agenda, we're definitely gonna be checking out some spots and making sure it's the right location. But yeah, November 17th, the ICO officially opens up. We're going to have, at least an alpha demo of how the platform's going to function. We're going to have, an updated ICO cabinet, which is going to be, super secure and just fantastic. We have, such a great development team that I'm super confident in. The team. That the main part was setting up the team, and now that that's set up, I mean, it's just really full throttle. 20-hour days, just doing everything we can to make sure that we stay true to ourselves and true to blockchain, and that blockchain is cloud and cloud is blockchain.
One last question before we start to wrap things up. When will the alpha be ready for everybody to use or get up on there and start utilizing this platform?
Depending on if we keep momentum and things keep going, it'll be pre-ICO. We'll either have the alpha open or a demonstration of the alpha. Okay. That is really exciting. Before the ICO for sure. The numbers, 10 million tokens will be sold via smart contract in our ICO. The first tier is at $2.50, 5 million tokens. And then 3 million tokens at $5, and then 2 million tokens at $10, and then shortly after that, within a month, I'm confident that there'll be the opportunity for everyone to participate in some capacity.
Awesome. And I believe right during the ICO, you'll be able to receive your tokens as soon as you pay for them, correct?
What's that? Please repeat.
When you partake in the ICO, as soon as you transfer your Bitcoin or Ethereum, you'll receive the token immediately, correct?
Yes. It's
I wanted to make sure people understood that.
Some don't do it. Some say, well, we'll send it in 2 months.
Exactly. Thank you.
They have tiers that are broken up, in different sections, so they can't necessarily sell it, send it yet because they got another tier. But no, ours are automatic. Our dev team's amazing and can definitely is making this happen. It's going to be a smart contract function, an automated one. Yes.
You don't have
Correct.
to comment.
Thank you for reminding
no
me.
problem. You don't have to comment on this. It's just a thought. But I can't partake in the ICO, but there's nothing stopping me from asking somebody who can to send me some once they receive them. So that's just a thought, as I'm just saying.
There's a clause that says, my job is to take extraordinary measures to make sure I, remain as compliant as possible with the compliance guidelines that doesn't exist yet.
Right, dude. That's it. You're being tied down by impossible hoops, but I can dig it.
It's hard when politics has to meet blockchain because it doesn't make sense.
Hey man, anywhere they shut a door, the internet opens a window. It's not within their interest to make this a difficulty. Hopefully soon they figure this shit out, because I personally would love to invest in the pre-ICO. I think that would... I'm going to use the damn platform. Like, I'm going to contribute to the value of the damn platform. That's like me owning stock in a business I work for. Like, it just makes sense, but I can't do it because my government's not blockchain savvy. It's very depressing to think I live in a country where people think it's very first world, yet I can't use the latest technology. It's not fair in my opinion. But anyway,
I'm going to do my best to make sure that this video right here is one of the first, if not the first, content features on the CLOUT network, because I got two of the greatest people here with me, and I'm just so honored and humbled to be able to the opportunity to speak to both of you. You're both so wise and have such a great following, because you're good, genuine people, and you're a digital currency, blockchain, crypto enthusiast, as am I. So much respect to both of you, and thank you so much for having us on and sharing the passion of blockchain and cloud.
Dude, thank you so much for taking the time to be on. Ben as well, thank you for co-hosting. It was a blast having you on. I do want to ask Sean, anything you want to make sure people got from this? It was a little bit of a long conversation, so if there's anything that they're going to take away from this conversation, what do you want to make sure they take away from it, and we can get on out of here?
If you could take it away in like one sentence, I would quote Ben and say, blockchain is clout and clout is blockchain.
Excellent. All right, Sean, thank you so much. Ben, thank you. Everybody, go ahead, check out the links in the description box below. You can enter the pre-ICO now. You can go ahead and read the white paper. Everything's in the description box. Thank you and have a night.
Cheers.
Love you guys.
Cheers.
Love you, brother.